Celebrity kids are often born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Robert James Ritchie Jr., on the other hand, had to wait a while before his showed up, and the years in between weren't easy. By all appearances, Ritchie Jr. has a pretty good relationship with his father, Robert James Ritchie, aka Kid Rock. Unfortunately, he can't say the same about his mother. Kid Rock's relationship with Kelly Russell was always complicated, but it hit rock bottom when he found out he wasn't the father of one of the 3 children they were raising together. A former roommate of Kid Rock's broke it down for the Detroit Free Press in 2015, saying there were 3 kids. He thought 2 of them were his, and then he found out that one of them wasn't. Kid Rock took the news hard, and the couple separated shortly after. Ritchie Jr. was just months old when Russell handed the baby over and left with her other 2 kids. Just like that, Kid Rock became a single father at age 22. He told The Guardian in 2015, "He was dropped on my doorstep at 6 months when I had no money and was trying to be a rock star. I didn't have a clue." For years, Ritchie Jr. had minimal contact with his mother, but he had other maternal figures in his life. As he raised his son solo while also experiencing a boom in his career, Kid Rock leaned on his mother, sister, and his son's godmother. All of this happened between 1993 and 1994, and during that time, Kid Rock was still a struggling musician. His prospects were good early on, with Jive Records producing his debut album, Grits Sandwiches for Breakfast, in 1990. But the label dropped him that same year. After that, Kid Rock used the remaining $2,200 from his contract to buy music equipment and found his pockets empty.
And I was broke again, moved back in with my parents.
Kid Rock released his next 2 albums with an independent label in 1993 and 1996, when he began simultaneously raising Ritchie Jr., though success was still elusive. For those first few years of Ritchie Jr.'s life, money was tight. According to the Detroit Free Press, Kid Rock's family wasn't able to give him a lot of financial support because, as he put it, Kid Rock was kind of disenfranchised from his dad at that point. It wasn't until 1998 that he had his breakthrough with Devil Without a Cause, after he secured a deal with Lava Records. Ritchie Jr. was 5 when that happened, and although that signaled the end of their financial problems, Kid Rock still consciously made professional choices that kept his career from going to the next level because he wanted to prioritize Ritchie Jr. He told Larry King, "I toured the last so many years. I only toured Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I have only done America because I wanted to be there for my son."
You know, I'd try to be home Monday to drive on a field trip if I had that commitment or whatever it was, to be there during the week.
Due to his parents' split, Ritchie Jr. spent most of his childhood isolated from his mother. Russell did try to get closer after Kid Rock hit it big, but it wasn't easy. Because Kid Rock got full custody of the boy when his son was 2, Russell had to challenge her ex in court for increased access to her son. In 2000, she sought to regain custody of Ritchie Jr., arguing that Kid Rock's newfound fame impacted his ability to dedicate enough time to his upbringing. Russell stood little chance, given that she originally lost custody to Rock in 1995 after an investigation revealed she had an alcohol addiction and once took a knife to Kid Rock's leg. When it started to become clear that Kid Rock would retain custody, Russell asked for more time with Ritchie Jr. It took 10 months of back and forth, but he ultimately agreed to increase her time with him. However, the new agreement stipulated that Russell had to pay Kid Rock $25 a week, unless she had Ritchie Jr. for at least 6 days. In that case, she would have to pay half the amount. Russell's attorney said that agreement, with its relatively small sum of money, was more or less just a petty form of punishment. She told the Detroit Free Press he was absolutely, positively insistent that she pay child support. His position is that she needs to assume responsibility. Russell's alcohol consumption was deemed an obstacle in her ability to raise Robert James Ritchie Jr., but Kid Rock's many vices seemed to have been just fine in the eyes of the law. However, even he knows he crossed the line more than once and exposed his son to plenty of things he shouldn't have. As a performing artist, there was no shortage of times when he got home drunk or under the influence of drugs. He detailed one of those moments in a profile on Esquire in 2011, saying, "I passed out in my bathroom, dead weight. My son comes in, he's like, 'Grandma, something's wrong with Dad.' That was on Christmas, and Ritchie Jr. was 7. Drugs and alcohol weren't the only age-inappropriate behavior the boy witnessed. His dad also made little effort to hide his philandering ways. Kid Rock told The Guardian, "There have been a lot of women. I could have set a better example for my son. When he was a teenager, I'd bring home girls that he had more in common with than I did." Kid Rock's relationship with Pamela Anderson was marked by breakups and makeups from the beginning. After dating on and off since 2001, they finally tied the knot in the summer of 2006. However, the legal union was short-lived. Before the year was out, the pair filed for divorce. The reason Kid Rock and Anderson's marriage failed just 4 months into it is up for debate, and each has given different motivations. For Kid Rock's part, he claimed he divorced Anderson to protect Ritchie Jr. They had been having issues for some time relating to their prenup and post-nup, and also what Kid Rock described as lies Anderson had spread about miscarrying a pregnancy and other issues. But what sealed the deal was Anderson's attitude toward his family in front of Ritchie Jr. He told Larry King in 2007, "When I saw it starting to affect my son, when she would talk down about my mother and about my sister, two people who were very instrumental in raising my son with me. When these things started to go on, that's when I stepped back." That wasn't the only Pamela-based tussle that Ritchie Jr. inadvertently found himself in the middle of. Kid Rock was never a fan of Anderson's ex-husband Tommy Lee, and anyone who tuned in to watch Alicia Keys' performance at the 2007 VMAs learned that firsthand. During the event, Kid Rock infamously punched the Motley Crue drummer in the face, resulting in both being escorted out. Kid Rock later regretted his action, but not because of the commotion he caused or because he was sorry about punching Tommy Lee. Instead, he regretted not thinking of the consequences it would have for Ritchie Jr. and also Lee and Anderson's two sons, Brandon and Dylan. He told Larry King later that year, "You've got to remember too, there's kids involved here. The only thing I was thinking about was my son and his two kids, and how does this affect them?"
Are your kids friendly with each other?
They don't speak anymore, no.
He added that the repercussions of a rash decision like that can stick around for a child, saying, "My son is 14. He has to go to school. He's the one that's got to deal with these antics, you know? Let's face it, high school kids can be a little unforgiving." It's impossible to say exactly how much any of those events affected Ritchie Jr. long-term, but when he grew up himself, he found himself in some of the same scenarios. Not getting into fights or partying per se, but finding his own way financially. Ritchie Jr. met his future wife, Marissa Travato, in high school, and the two got married in December 2021. Years before their wedding, Ritchie Jr. and Travato welcomed their first child, a daughter named Sky, in 2014. Ritchie Jr. was 21 at the time, but adamant that he wasn't going to fall back on family wealth to make it. Becoming a dad in his early 20s wasn't easy for Ritchie Jr., but he didn't look to his own dad for help financially. Instead, he got a job at an Apple store and tried to make ends meet in order to provide for himself and for his family. Ritchie Jr. welcomed his second child with Travato, a son named Ryder, in September 2022. It's not hard to imagine that being the son of Kid Rock can definitely have its challenges. Being the son of a controversial musician means that you're connected with everything by default. While Ritchie Jr. appears to handle his online presence with relative ease, there have been times where he's been subjected to public scrutiny, particularly when politics come into the picture. For example, in 2017, he shared a throwback picture of himself alongside Barack and Michelle Obama on Instagram, writing, "Regardless of politics, 8 years ago I had the privilege of attending President Obama's inauguration with my dad. What a good guy. Humble and down-to-earth person, and I dig that." From the wording, it's clear that Ritchie Jr. is careful when posting online, and the comments on that photo were split right in half, unsurprisingly. His father, of course, is a big supporter of President Donald Trump, and Ritchie Jr. himself hasn't made his political affiliation secret. In September 2025, Ritchie Jr. posted a tribute to Charlie Kirk, and the same thing happened. The majority of the comments were supportive, but there were plenty that trashed all three of the people in the photo.